After a gloomy winter, Australians are getting out into nature to appreciate springtime. There's the warm sunshine on your skin, a cool breeze through your hair, and an angry bird approaching without warning to peck and scratch you for getting too close to their nest. And while magpies cop the blame most of the time, plenty of other birds swoop in Australia. Read more: How to avoid being swooped by a magpie. The lapwing or spur-winged plover is a particularly conspicuous swooper in the areas they live. Plovers have their nests on the ground, which means wide open areas are not necessarily safe from swooping. The magpie lark or the peewee will also swoop. While they don't swoop as often, they will often swoop from the front. There's been instances of people getting eye gouged from the claws of the magpie lark, BirdLife Australia's Sean Dooley told 9 News. com.au. Despite the name, the magpie lark is unrelated to the magpie, but they do resemble a smaller version of the bird. Read more: Magpies outwit Aussie scientists by helping each other. Kookaburras are also known to swoop at people. Gulls and terns will also instinctively swoop when people get close to their nests. But because most of the nests are in offshore colonies, it's rare for people to unwittingly into those seabirds' territory. Then there's the seagulls, which often swoop to snatch food out of people's hands. That's not a seasonal issue, some birds are just jerks. But the magpie has a particular reputation for swooping, though it's only a few of the birds which actually do so. Live updates: close to 40% of Aussies hit by Optus breach. Only 1 in 10 male magpies swoop at people, and females never do. Dooley said magpies were one of the few native birds that have thrived after European settlement in Australia. Most of the year, magpies live perfectly happily alongside us, he said. They get on well with people except when it comes to this time of year. But if you think a magpie is unnecessarily aggro, it's unlikely to be, because the bird is undiscriminating. It's more likely you have somehow wronged the magpie at some point, or happen to look like someone who has. You often find a magpie won't swoop anyone willy-nilly, Dooley said. It will only swoop a certain type of person, a certain height or hair color, or even wearing a particular color, because they might be reminded of a person that had been involved in some threatening behavior previously. Read more: Biden appears to forget Congresswoman had died. Magpies are capable of remembering up to 30 faces, and they have long memories, Dooley said. That behavior could have happened weeks, months, even years ago, he said. Magpies will come and swoop at individual people even if those magpies haven't been around for 3 or 4 years. The old trick of staring at a magpie does work sometimes, because a magpie is unlikely to swoop someone head-on for their own safety. But given only 5% of magpies swoop, you may just be staring at one minding its own business. Dooley said magpies will normally aim for the highest point of a target, so holding an umbrella won't stop you being swooped, but it will keep you from being scratched or pecked. Some magpies are more aggressive than others, based on where you are in the country. Magpies tend to be more aggressive in the suburban and rural outskirts of cities. Canberra is the part of Australia which has the most reports of aggressive magpies. But the subspecies of magpies that live in Tasmania don't swoop at all.